Okay, so just a little bit more information if anyone's interested in about the architecture of the battery on this i-miev and the actual fault. So here are some actual cells from a i-miev. Some old ones I took out. These are kind of expanded, as you can see. These are Yuasa LEV 50 cells, and later cars had LEV 50N cells, which are a slight improvement, but these are the cells. So this is sort of like basically a failed module from this car. So the car's got 10 8-cell modules. So if these were all in this plastic housing and then all sort of together, that's one 8-cell module. So it's got 10 of those, so that's 88 cells. And then some of the cars have got an extra 2 4-cell modules, so like 2 of just this part, making 88. So yeah, either 80 or 88 cells, and they're in a module like this. And then this is the monitoring circuit board, and this is kind of a little extension just to monitor these 4 cells. So the architecture of this battery, so each module has a monitoring circuit board because the car needs to know the voltages and temperatures and stuff like that. Lithium batteries have to be closely monitored for voltage for safety and have to be actively balanced. So this module will actually, when instructed by the BMS, will balance the cells, which is basically just means bleed a little bit of current off as it's charging in that like last phase of charging. So the cells which have a slightly higher voltage just have a little trickle of current drawn out of them, and it just enables them to just come back in line basically. I know they're obviously the same cells, but just manufacturing differences. They just have a slightly different characteristics, but it's really important with lithium batteries that you keep them in the right voltage range. So we know from our diagnostics that the voltage is jumping up and down. So on these batteries, this board, which is the cell monitoring unit, and there's one on each module, is monitoring that voltage and other things. So if we have a good look at the board, basically this is where the CAN is connected. It's in a CAN network with the BMS. There's kind of control chip, there's various chips on there, but this one actually monitors the voltages of the individual cells, and also it does a total voltage as well. So you can see the cells are sort of linked together here, so it kind of goes like that. And there you can see from these ones the orientation, so you can see that that's positive up there and then down here. So if you link them together, it's like having all the cells in a long line, but obviously for packaging purposes you put them into modules. And then on here you've got these little screw positions, so it screws on here, and that basically enables it to do the voltage monitoring. So it comes through here, and that's the chip that actually monitors the voltage. So on this car in module 2, that is the chip that's failed. Now an interesting thing on this board is there's gaps here, so you think, well, how can you read the voltage of this cell, because you haven't got a tab here. Well, obviously this one is directly linked with a big buzz bar to here, so it doesn't actually need to here, because if it does between here and here, then it's monitoring this cell. And the same with this one, there's not one here, so it goes between here and here for this cell, and then here and here for this one. So this is the end of the module, so it can use this to do its total voltage, because it does total voltage of the module and individual, and then it will compare those and make sure that they're sort of, you know, the total is the sum of the parts, if that makes sense. Where it looks really weird, it's hard to put these back together because they're kind of squidged up, but this one should, if I just click this off actually, that'll be slightly easier. So that should be there. When it looks really weird is this cell, because you sort of think, well, how does it monitor that one? But you can kind of imagine if I grab, oh, that's kind of hard to take out, but if you had a link across here and a link across here, as I was saying, because this one is connected to here and this one is connected to here, you actually don't need to use these tabs at all, and it kind of looks weird, and you think, well, how would that work? But basically, if it measures the voltage between that point and that point, because that's connected to there and that's connected to there, then it can measure that cell. And then on the end one, it's got both on there, just because of how it ends up, because at the start it's got, you know, just as the way around it is, it's got a link there, and then at the end it's got to do both kind of thing. But yeah, and then if it does both here, because if it's just a 4-cell module, so without this part, it can obviously then do both ends, because it's got both on that one, and then it's got the intermediate points. So effectively it only needs to connect to the start and the end, and then to each sort of buzz bar link. So this is for this one, for these 2 points, and that one is for these 2, and that one's for those 2. So hopefully that's interesting. I'm going to get the car moved shortly, and the next video will be the repair. So all right, I should also add that I am high voltage trained. So obviously don't try this at home. I don't think anyone would particularly, but yes, I'd rather if you didn't. All right, take care. Cheers.